What I
Whoopsie.
was saying, I just like a great beverage, is what I was trying to say to you. And
I
Polar
love it.
is
I
making
love
these
it.
poolside. They always do limited edition seltzers, especially in the
Hmm.
summer or seasonally. And poolside grape pops is the one. They also have a
Oh, I
lavender
love the
blueberry.
design on the can too.
Mm-hmm.
Feels
So we're
very
gonna see what
retro.
lavender blueberry is like shortly. I don't know, whenever we get to that box in
Mm.
the garage. So,
Me likey, me likey.
so we come here for the beverage talk.
Yes, we do.
That's
Yes, we do.
what this is about.
I don't have no beverage,
Oh, well.
and I feel parched. Moving on.
Did you send your mom that video I sent you of the
I
lady
did.
singing?
I
What did
did.
mom
She thought that
say?
was hilarious. She loved that. She loved that.
Okay,
Those
good, good.
they were like,
They were grooving to that, like, we take our prune juice and we poop.
right. That's right. I love senior citizens.
So does your
It's,
mom. I think they're adorable too. And we
yeah,
do a horrible job taking care of them in this country. But that is not what we're here to talk about.
indeed, indeed. Well, welcome to TBR
Hello.
Lowdown.
Welcome, welcome.
Look, I'm the Debbie Downer today. I'm the low energy person today, people.
I've had a very good day, okay? I went to the Pilates. I mean, I fought. Let me just tell you, it's been a fight to get to, like, this is my first Pilates class. I've been paying for Pilates for over a week because it's so hard to get into a class
I told you
without
these
the
are the complaints that I
with
see when I'm online.
without the unlimited. And so you know what my
Yeah.
dumb ass did? I at the end of the month it's going to renew to unlimited because I can't do this. I
Oh
can't.
my
I need it.
gosh.
I need to be able to actually book stuff, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Also, when I went to class today, a class that was booked fully, there were like several open stations. So I asked the lady, I said, so when I'm like the first person waitlisted, like I'm right on the cusp, and if it's class time
Yeah.
and I haven't made it in, should I just come by? See if you have an empty carriage so that I can get
Mm,
on. She's like,
right.
yes.
So does
So
that then mean you don't need unlimited?
no, I think I still need unlimited because like I want to do more classes, but
Okay.
it's just frustrating. But now at least like I don't have to feel so
Yeah.
constrained.
Yeah. Well, I knew you would like it, and I'm glad I was right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
everybody like go subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch all my videos on repeat like while you're cleaning the house because I'm gonna need to pay for this.
She's gonna need the money, folks. Okay, help a girl
it's not
out.
just it's not just because I'm unfit. I need it for my injury. Okay. I mean I could really I think it's gonna be good for my back.
It will be.
Really good for my back. And
It will be
yeah.
because that's gonna strengthen your core. That's what you need.
Yeah, and there were like a lot of like moving like overhead sort of stuff that was really it's really hard for me to do. I can see like where my weakness is. Like there's
Mm,
it's I have a lot of strength in a lot of places, but
yeah.
everything I can see where the injury pops in. Like
Yep.
it's very specific exercises. So
Yep.
anyway, again, that's not what we're here for.
We're just catching up. You know, just catching up.
I'm trying to keep us on brand. We are on brand.
We are
On
totally on
focus.
brand.
Yeah. On focus because you said you don't have a charger.
I don't. This is going to be
So
interesting.
we are playing with fire.
We really are today. We really, really are.
So anyway,
Wow.
let's hop to it. What are you reading?
I just started this, which I didn't know at first. I thought it was a novel, but it's actually a short story collection called Crick Crack by Edward Dontecat.
Crick crack, crick crack.
Mm-hmm.
I like saying that. Crick crack.
Yeah. And
crick crack, patty whack.
I thought it was a novel. You know, I don't read about things. There are authors I want to try, and I'm like, oh, okay, come into my collection. So this is actually a collection of short stories, and I was reading the first one last night, and I don't even really know what it's about because I'm only a few pages in, but they're on this ship going somewhere, and we're kind of introduced to two characters in the beginning. One woman who is like very frustrated with her life. She's just tired of cleaning. She's tired of like, you know, doing quote unquote slave work. And she's extremely frustrated with her life. And then there's a man who is on this ship who was constantly writing in his journal.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to have a knowing that his life is not going to it's going to be shortened. So as he's writing, one of the other men on the ship says, what are you writing? What are you always writing? He's like, my will. So there's this there's this feeling that I get about him that he has a feeling that things are going to turn out well for his life. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a third guy, and or maybe it's the same guy. Again, I just started this. And anyway, he was concerned because he was really getting on with this woman. And since he's on the ship now, he's concerned that she's going to date this other guy that like he really, really hates. And he's like, basically, I hope that she waits for me. You know, don't go date that other guy. So we'll see where it goes. It feels a little intense when they were describing how all of these people are on this ship like crammed in. I was like, ooh, that's probably how like the slave ships were, you know, like just everybody crammed in, and they were talking about like, you know, where did you poop? You know, you just choose a corner like they did on the slave ships and just,
Oh.
and so like everything feels very intense on this ship, you know, because you could just imagine what that's like. All those people just crammed in there, no privacy, you know, pooping in front of everyone, peeing in front of everyone, like just, you know, so that kind of brought out some really uncomfortable feelings. But I'm interested one to see how I get on with her writing as a whole. I'm interested to see how the rest of these short stories turn out. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm at a good start. I'm enjoying, well, not enjoying, I don't say the word enjoying. I'm I like how this story is written, how it's being told. And I am curious to see what happens with these characters and to get a better understanding of what's happening with them on this ship. So that's Crick Crack by Edwig Donticat. I don't
I've
think I'm
never
saying that
read
last
that.
name correctly.
I don't know, but I kind of like it all together. Crick Crack by Edward Track. Whatever
Right,
you said.
right.
It sounds like a thing. Like it sounds
Yeah.
like
And
it would
she's
be
a
the beginning
Haitian
of a.
author. Oh, and so I got this book. I think I got this out of a little free library, or maybe, yeah, I think I got it out of a little free library. And I love finding things like someone left their Metro Fair card in here,
Oh, I love that.
and someone, there's a happy birthday note in here to
Oh,
someone. And so apparently they send each other books back and forth all the time. I was like, oh, is this Mel and Alyssa?
yes, but I don't write notes in your book, so maybe I need to start putting notes in your book.
She says, Dear Daphne, I know, pretty unoriginal since you gave me two books literally a week ago, but I knew you but I know you read it. So I heard Dr. Cat read in DuPont, Wonderful Lady, so on and so on. So I was like, oh, this is what they do. I thought that was cute. So
That is really
I
nice.
love, that's another part of used books that I like, is just finding little trinkets inside.
I like the one they're really just bizarre. Like I have there's this very over the top love letter in the back of Frankenstein Baghdad that is, I mean, I'm fairly certain he left her. It sounds insane. But it's like also like, why is this the book you wrote it in?
Wow.
It is a lot. Anyway, or like
Okay.
I've found like that like confession. Remember that long note that was
Oh,
like the guy stole this money from me and all this
yes.
stuff. Like that's a
Yes.
really
Fun
interesting
finds,
thing
right?
in the
Fun,
back
fun
of books,
finds.
or just
All
like
right.
tucked
Well,
into books.
what about you? What have you been reading lately?
A lot. I started Confessions by Catherine Airy.
Hmm.
Airy.
And you,
I
oh, I
always
like that cover.
say the. I always want to. I don't know why I think her last name's Levy. Anyway, um, so this has three different timelines. I am just into the second timeline. We start, it's New York, it's September 11th. This girl is
Hmm.
already doesn't have a mom because she killed herself, and her dad dies in the North Tower. And she gets this note from her aunt in Ireland and is like, you can come live with me if you want. I think she's like almost an adult. Like she's still like under 18, but like it's not like she's 12. Like she's like
Right.
17, she's like junior year of high school. So
She's a
she
young
is
adult.
older, right? But still a child. And then the next timeline, I think, is the sisters. So like her mom and her aunt growing up. And there is this like video game that's a thread of us. And
Hmm.
I think that this video game that our main character in the 9/11 timeline has is based off of a game the sisters used to play as kids, but I don't
Uh-huh.
know how all of this is like intertwined. Her dad was also from Ireland. They were like high school sweethearts. I think we're just meeting, like her parents are just meeting now. So it's going to be interesting. So like you're in the 70s in Donegal, and then it's 2018 somewhere else, and there's somebody, like I think we get another character there.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. I think I got sent this, and the comp was like, if you liked the Rachel incident, you
Whoa,
might
which
like
we
this.
did. Yeah.
So I was very excited to get this, and then of course, because I never get to my arcs, this came out in January, so I'm like 4 months late. It's fine,
It is fine. It's totally fine.
but I'm enjoying it. I mean, so far it's told really well. The 9/11 stuff it was hard to read. I don't think it'll stop being hard to read ever, but
Right.
yeah, it but it's good. Yeah, so we'll see how I
Right.
fare.
It looked a little thick. How many pages is it?
Oh, I just put it down. Hold on.
So sorry.
I mean, it's thick, but it's got like big,
Oh.
what's it called, big type and stuff. And it's an arc. It's like 460 pages in
Oh,
this
nice. Okay.
printing, but like the font's fairly big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, here we are for another book discussion.
I've said this. I need to talk about this, but I have no idea how to talk about it. So we're here to talk
Oh,
about
yeah. I'm right there with you. Right there with
Death
you.
Takes Me by Cristina Rivera Garza.
Yeah.
I so I mm,
I'm going to
oh,
try my best. I'm still wrapping my head around things, just so you know. I'm still like rereading parts like, wait a minute, what? I, yeah.
I think I need to
So
reread this.
I
Is what
definitely have to reread it.
I guess happened. So did you? Let's start. Like, how do you feel about it?
Um, I I liked it a great deal. And although sometimes I felt lost, um, I still wanted to keep going. But then there was this part where she jumps into, you know what I'm talking about, where we kind of get off of like the story of what's happening. And then she goes into something else. And that kind of threw me for a loop for a minute. And I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, there is like it devolves somewhere into like
Yeah.
it spins off, and it takes a minute to figure it out.
Yeah, it threw me. It threw me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like all the way through when I'm reading, I'm like, I'm gonna have to read this again. I'm gonna have to read this again. And that's just how I felt the whole time. Like I just knew it. I just knew it. But also like I started it very early on, like months ago, but then I stopped. And then I
Yeah.
basically like tried to read it as fast as I could this week for this discussion, which is not
Hmm.
a good thing.
Oh no, no, not for this
No, it's
book.
not a good thing.
Mhm.
So that's I'm gonna have to read it again for sure, for sure. But we're gonna discuss it the best that we can.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like want to maybe we just posit a whole bunch of questions, and if anybody listening has also read this and has any answers to those questions or wants to jump in, you can jump in the comments over on YouTube, or I guess, do we have comments on the show notes? I don't know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because it's a blog post. So yes, please comment on the show notes on our website.
yeah,
Yes.
you can comment and maybe we can talk about this because I I enjoy, so I find I find I can't talk about Cristina Rivera Garza. This is my second book of hers. And I just bought another one, the one I think she won the Pulitzer. What not the Pulitzer? Did she win a Pulitzer? She
She
won
won
something for it.
something for that one. I started that
Um,
one.
I don't think.
The one about her sister, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what she won for that one. Anyway, she won an award for it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
it was the Pulitzer.
was it Pulitzer? Yeah, there you go. Um, which congrats to Percival Everett. Anyway,
Right.
um,
Woohoo!
but anyway, I have this weird relationship, I think, developing with her as an author. I find her writing like addictive, very opaque, incredibly confusing, um, but
Yeah.
like atmospheric and beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
she makes me like want to keep digging to get to the center of something. Like there is something at the center. Like in this book in particular, I think even more than the Iliac Cross, like there's something at the center of this.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten to it yet. And I
Yeah.
wonder if I ever will. or
Right.
or if I'm just going to kind of be like spiraling around it. Um and I even tried to look up some discourse online. I'm sure I didn't read any articles, but just like videos or anything and
See, I didn't have time
interviews
to
and
do
stuff.
that, and I wanted to.
And
What did you
there
find?
wasn't not a lot but this was a couple weeks ago. So I don't know if there's more now. But I feel like there is an interview with her and this discussion of trying to change the narrative of a crime novel from what it normally is. This idea that, like, like the victims are
She
usually
did that.
women, the detectives are usually not women. And then what does it mean? What does it mean when you change the victim? How does the society around these crimes, how do they change? How
Mm-hmm.
does behavior change? What does it look like for the investigators and I guess even the perpetrator? So you do have the perpetrator kind of going through here too. And how does that change based on the societal norms? Like, we normally,
Yeah.
like, you don't expect a bunch of men. So the crime in this is a bunch of men in this uh town that already has violence. It sounds like the
Mm-hmm.
violence is fairly
Common.
normal.
Mm-hmm.
uh and I guess we should take from that violence is normal to women.
Yes.
um Even though I don't know if that's explicit. I don't know if she ever explicitly ever says anything. Um, but these men start showing up murdered and castrated.
Right.
And it obviously, alarm bells start going off, panic, all kinds of things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Why is someone doing this? How is someone doing this? Who could be doing this? Could it
Right.
possibly be a man? Could it possibly be a woman? Um, there are these poems that are being left, in conjunction with the bodies, and they're all from this Argentine poet, um, and
Alejandra,
that's
somebody.
Pizarnik, and then that kind of brings in Cristina Rivera Garza as a character to self-insert as this expert in the poetry, the language,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to figure out how it's all connected and what it all
Right. What it
means.
does means, yeah.
And you're sitting there trying to figure it all out too.
Yeah.
Um, and I what I appreciated in particular was trying to look at a crime novel from a different angle and reinvent sort of that genre. And I think she
Mm-hmm.
does succeed in that exercise. I think she brings a much more literary eye to the like
Right.
the crime thriller,
Yep. I would agree.
but again, it's just so opaque.
It really is. It really is. Um, yeah. And we're getting points of view from Christina, who was the professor in the story, and
Hmm.
the detective, and
Hmm.
the killer. And I don't know, maybe symbolically also through Alejandra Pizarnik,
Hmm.
because her poems are so interwoven into everything about these cases.
Hmm.
Um, and I I I guess that's did they call this genre bending or genre defying? Because that's kind of what it is. Yeah, it is. I think that she has checked the box on that, but it is definitely in a way that is very, I don't know, it feels so mature. It feels very steady. It doesn't feel cheesy at all. Like
Mm-mm.
I definitely wouldn't call it like your everyday thriller. It's not that. There is a lot of weight and seriousness to this story. Um and I like that a lot. But again, it was very difficult just trying to just kind of follow along with Miss Garza as she's telling this story. Yeah, I don't I feel like this is a book that you got to take a little slower, because I was thinking about, upon rereading it, I should definitely maybe take. I mean, the chapters are very short, but
Yes.
perhaps taking like 5 to 8 chapters at a time. Like, what is it, 99 or 100? It's a lot of chapters because they're super short. But like maybe taking 5 to 8 at a time. Really, just like reading through those slowly, because there's a lot I think that you can miss. There's a lot,
Yeah.
like nothing's happening, but everything's happening. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
references to things that I don't know about. And so then I need time to like research things. Like, it's a lot with this book.
I think that that's a really important part of this and our understanding of this. And I wonder what other people who are more familiar with like Pizarnik and other things,
Yeah.
like do they have an easier time reading this novel because of that? Um, but I will say, like, I read a collection. New Directions has a collection of Pizarnik's poems. As for later poems, I read them. Some of them are in here, if I remember correctly. Um,
I just read 2 that I printed out from the Poetry Foundation.
and I watched a little biography on her, and I mean, there is this hauntingness of death, and
Mm-hmm.
but like I think for me, I was looking for like some I don't know, I was like looking for some really like
I
big
was looking for a clue.
connection. And I don't, other than,
Yeah.
I don't, like, I'm missing the connection between her poetry and this crime novel
Yeah.
and why she was chosen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I want
Because
to
there's a
find
reason,
in
right?
the
There is
view.
a reason. It wasn't for
Hmm.
nothing.
No.
Like, I'm sure she didn't just put a bunch of poets in a hat and just like shook it and chose one. Like, there is, like you said, there's
No.
something there. And like I printed out and read these 2 poems, but I saw that collection. I was like, damn, I wish I had that, you know?
Yeah. And it's it's an interesting collection. And I feel like I now, because I feel like I've talked about it, especially today because I filmed so many videos and I feel like this has come up now. And between this and Substack, I feel like I've said this a lot. But so forgive me if I'm repeating myself if you follow me on all my little platforms. But I feel like translating poetry
Mm-hmm.
must be so hard.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
so much harder than any other level, any other kind of translation, especially translating a lot of these shorter, fragmented poems. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's so much room to lose things in translation
Right.
because the language is so precise already.
Right. Yeah.
so I had an easier time with Pizarnik's longer poems, especially her later longer poems, than I did her earlier fragmented work.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, um, there's definitely like a lot of like haunting death sort of themes going on in the poetry. So I could see like on a very surface level why, but I don't feel like Cristina Rivera Garza does anything surface level.
Right.
So there's a deeper something to
Yeah.
this choice. And if anybody would like to enlighten me, please educate again in the comments. Because yeah, I would just like to know.
Because
I would.
I was also thinking like, okay, well, is it something that this um Alejandra did in her personal life that was maybe radical or something? Maybe that's why she was chosen. Again, I didn't have enough time to research because, I
I
just
mean,
basically finished this book the other day. You know what I mean?
she's
Like,
a very important, from my very small amount of research. It seems like she's a very important poet in Argentina.
mm-hmm.
Cristina Rivera Garza, I believe, is Mexican. I don't know how important she is then across like all of like Latin literature.
Yeah.
Um, or if it's just like a special love of the authors. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
she does have like a lot. And she did die. She committed suicide. Um, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have not found the proverbial smoking gun um, on that
Yeah.
question. Oh, we also get the perspective of like the detective's assistant, right? Because she gets kind of pulled off this case after something.
Right. I almost forgot about
And
that.
and then we have this other, and that's like our only male perspective.
Right.
Other than I think, isn't there like the editor or something?
Oh, right. Who receives the book
I think that
towards the
that's the
end.
only other.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of male perspectives in this, which is also interesting. So there's a lot of like giving voice to the victimless. There's a lot of reorienting away from men.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I knew this was going to be a challenging thing, and
I
it's
I did
to
too.
talk about. Um, but it's more like I said. I want to start a conversation about this book,
Yeah.
and hopefully people will join in because it is like very beautiful at times, and some of the poems she picks are absolutely stunning. There's also I found the rhythm is very like fragmented too, and I don't know if she's harkening back to Pizarnik with that because she, like you read a really beautiful like paragraph or something or
Yeah.
sentence or whatever, and it just really flows, and you're like really into it, and it's very smooth. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
often I would be, it was jerky, like I would be like in it and then out and in it and out in like a
Mm-hmm.
sentence where I was like, this is the best thing. And then she would like switch gears or there's
But
a
I felt
jerkiness.
like I felt, and I could be wrong, but I felt like that was intentional. It reflects how that investigation was going.
No, I agree. I think that
Yeah.
almost everything in here is intentional in some way. But I think that that leads to the unsettled, like you don't feel settled while you're reading this. And not like, oh, I'm unsettled. People are being murdered. Like you're just never
Like in
really,
the pocket, like how, yeah.
yeah, you're never
Mm-hmm.
really sure where what's happening.
Yeah.
Like is I mean, how many times did you think is Cristina Rivera Garza
The killer.
castrating these men?
Um, all throughout. So here's when I really thought it. The first time I thought it was when we got the perspective of the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the crazy thing that I thought. I thought, oh my goodness, does she have a split personality? Does the other personality not know that she's actually a murderer? This is what I
Yeah.
thought. And when that killer's perspective came in, I was off kilter, completely
Mm-hmm.
off kilter. It it made my hair raise on my, it was just very weird and creepy and eerie. And I was like, I am very off kilter right now. I feel very uneasy right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a different kind of a creep level. But that is when I was like, oh my gosh, what if? What if the professor is also the killer? What if we're dealing with like a mental psychosis, something going on thing, and she doesn't even know what's happening? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then when we got towards the end, when that editor received the book, what I thought it was going to be was her confession.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So there were a couple of times where I thought it was going to be, you know, revealed that the professor was actually the murderer.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad it's not that. That would have really
Right.
cheapened this.
Exactly.
But you do
Exactly.
like, I mean, but I think that that's really great. That really does hold on to that, or not hold on to that. Respects the genre of like crime novel,
Yeah.
right? Like you have
Yeah.
that, like, you're not sure
Mm-hmm.
who's telling you the truth. Is this
Exactly.
the suspect real? Like,
Yeah.
are they reliable? That's the word I'm
For
looking for.
sure. Yeah.
So I mean, I do really respect what she's doing in
Mm-hmm.
this novel. I just feel like, I mean, look, this is not going to be for a lot of people. I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to
I
start
think
this
you're
and
right.
go, oh, nope,
No.
too opaque.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
I'm looking for fun. But then I think there's others who it's going to, like, it just kind of, I think it's that unsettling challenge of it that makes
Mm-hmm.
you want to keep go, like, you need to figure it out. You
Yes.
want to get to the bottom of the mystery. Like, the mystery
Yeah.
isn't just who's castrating these men. The mystery is
Right.
like, the whole thing is like,
Yeah.
how do we get from A to B to C to
Mm-hmm.
D? And yeah, I just,
Mm-hmm.
it's, it needs a reread.
It does. It really
Mhm.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I feel
poetry
like
is a big thing in this book, though.
it is a big thing. And I wonder why she makes poetry such a big thing.
Right. You remember that part in the beginning, not the very, but 30 something pages in, and she says, I had to accept that sooner rather than later, sooner than ever. The detective and I were going to talk about poetry. One
Mhm.
day, without a doubt, we would. Yeah. Gotta read it slowly. Slowly. Oh, and going back to the killer's perspective, that chapter called Message Number 3, I was like, this is a lot. Anytime someone says you shouldn't be afraid of me, I won't hurt you, I'm already creeped out because I'm like, okay, well, tell me you're gonna hurt me without telling me you're gonna hurt me. And the amount of times that the killer mentions, I watch you, it was just very like, oh,
Yep. I mean, it is very unsettling.
yeah,
And I kept thinking of Wire in the Blood. I don't know if you've ever watched this, like, British mystery
no,
show. It's old. I really liked it. It's got like um, a psychologist who
mm-hmm,
does like profiling kind of thing,
yeah,
and you follow him, and he's like a little weird. Um, but the way, the kinds of cases they do, the the way the show is sort of perspective through
uh-huh,
this psychologist, um, it's very like trippy. And I kept kind of thinking back to those shows when I was
mm,
reading this, because it's not so much about like the law and order, like crime side. It's a lot more like why,
yeah,
what kind of person would do this thing, and then like
right,
that profiling. I mean, and I felt like Garza was being the professor, was being that like profiler, like
mm-hmm,
trying, instead of you finding a psychologist, you bring in this
just
literary professor to break
exactly,
down the poetry and explain to you why somebody would go around castrating men.
exactly. Also, that art piece that's mentioned in here, Great Deeds Against the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, I don't
Did I
know. I
look that
liked
up?
it.
What's it called again? Can't remember if I looked it up.
Great Deeds Against the Dead. It's really like if I had money, I would want that. I really
Deeds.
would. Yeah, Great Deeds Against the Dead. It's on the Christine's website.
I mean,
I'll put it in the show notes too, people, so you all can see
oh,
it.
the Goya painting. Is it a
I really
Goya?
like it. No. Who is it? Let me see. I really, really like it. I mean, it's,
Oh,
definitely
maybe I'm looking at
for.
something else. Why are you crying, sweet girl? Everybody's downstairs. You can go downstairs. Come here. Sorry, there was a big thunderstorm, so she's in this.
All right, so the Christie's website, and this is what it looks like. It's just for the people watching the video. Where's my camera? There we go.
Oh yeah. That's a
Yeah. I
yeah.
love it.
That's a Goya.
I love it.
Yeah, that's Goya.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how like in depth you and I are going to get into this on first read.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to revisit this novel and definitely have to I mean, I only read two of Alejandra's poems, but we'll be interested to go back and have another discussion about it maybe later.
Yeah, I mean, I
More
would love to revisit this.
well
And
informed,
yeah, but
fully fleshed
definitely,
out talk.
definitely not a book to read quickly because you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yes. Yeah.
But and definitely something you want to take your time with. And I also feel like I feel like some of this could be a bit of a red herring. Like, am I and we as like me as a reader going and reading all of this lady's poems and all that, like, is it really informing
Like, are
my
we
reading?
doing too much? Are you trying to say
Like, is
that?
it, yeah, like, I'm just saying, like, is it a bit of a red herring? Like, is in the story, is it a red herring, like, to throw you off to think it's something else? As
Mm-hmm.
a reader, is a bit of red herring. Like, it's not going to answer any of the questions in the novel because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Um, does she just want to dupe a lot of people into reading this poet?
I mean, I don't know, or maybe she did what she set out to do, which is, I think she has challenged the traditional narrative of
Mm-hmm.
gendered violence,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, I mean, maybe that was the whole point,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there's more.
So let us know in the comments what you think.
Maybe there's more. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it though. I liked it a lot. And there were times where I just felt like, oh, this a lot of it felt very poetic too.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it was written. So, I appreciated it a great deal. I I need to finish Iliad Crest. I want to get her book Grieving. I started reading the one about her sister. I was starting to, I gotta buy it. I did the audio book and I was like, nope, I need the book. I tried. I need the book.
I've got it. I got it
Yeah.
the other day.
So I think I'm gonna finish it up by reading it physically. And I'm not sure what else she has in her catalog, but I'm intrigued by her.
Yeah, like there's just something challenging and not in like a negative way for
Yeah.
me about her
Yeah.
writing. But I could see why others haven't gotten on so well with this particular novel. I mean, just because of all the things we've already spoken about. But I just think some people just don't want that. Like you don't
Oh,
want
duh.
you just don't want to read like that.
Books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also, like this book is almost 20 years old.
Yeah, it is old.
You know, because it was first published in what, 2007.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Hmm.
We always get the translated works books so late.
I know. Or we should just start learning how to speak all the languages.
I mean, that's basically what the solution is, Alyssa. We learn all the languages and then we start
Unfortunately,
translating.
I
That's the
have a
next
hard
level of TBR Lowdown,
I
translating
have
books.
enough I have enough problems
If
with
Molly
English.
Ringwald can do it,
I have enough problems with English. You see the struggle I have trying to get a Substack out without like some glaring typo. It's like absolutely I can't.
oh
Even
my
when I think I've
god.
got one, it finds out that I've screwed up something really simple right at the start, and all of us just missed it because everyone just read it correctly.
That's what happens, right? Your eye knows what the
Hmm.
word is, your brain knows what it is. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. We moved
yeah,
on. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, please weigh in on our show notes if you've read this book. Let us know your thoughts on this. We would love to
yes, please.
know. We
Yes,
would
please.
love to know. Thank.
And
Oh,
thank you
and
to
thank you,
Hogarth.
Hogarth. Thanks. No, thank you, Hogarth, for sending us these advanced copies. They were advanced when we received them, at least.
They were
Um,
advanced when we received them.
yeah, I love Hogarth. I love Hogarth
Me
a lot.
too. Send me more books, Hogarth. I love
Yeah,
them. Okay. Anyway, that was my begging.
I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna say that the begging worked because the Melissa Fabos showed up.
Right. It sure did. It
Uh-huh.
sure did.
Somebody's
Somebody
watching.
was listening or watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it book
Somebody from
recommendation?
Hogarth out there listening for real to this show, because we would love to have you on. Let's chit chat. Let's chit chat.
Doesn't Jalen work for Hogarth now?
Is it Hogarth?
I
I
thought
don't
so.
know. I
Anyway,
don't know. Okay. Well, oh my goodness. Okay. Book recommendation time. I am at 24%.
oh my God. Okay.
Remember, my battery is already jacked. This computer's so old. Okay.
Okay. You want me to go?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is I just finished this the other day. It's The Governesses by Anne Sarah. It's little novella. Um I enjoyed this. I think she has something shortlisted for the Booker
Mm.
right now. The Leopard Hat or something like that. Translated from
Oh,
French.
okay.
This is just a weird fairy tale dreamscape story. You have these three governesses that take care of this gaggle of boys, and they live in this house sort of in the woods with this couple who may or may not be the parents of the kids. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And there's an old man across the way who watches the ladies with his telescope. And the ladies are, these are not your like typical governesses. These ladies have a ferocious sexual appetite.
Oh,
They find and hunt down men in the woods and have their
wow.
way with them. They shake their naked butts at the man with the
Ooh.
telescope. They have, they're just very sexual creatures.
Mm.
And it's this very bizarre. Only way I can understand this is in the context of Dream, where you can take left turns that make no sense and you just accept them. That things appear, disappear, have meaning, don't have meaning, and then just can all come crashing to a halt when you wake up. That's the only way I can understand this whole story is if I put it in the context of Dream. But it has like a very
Yeah.
fairy tale like quality to it, and it's talking sort of about like female sexuality, male gaze, performativeness of sex, autonomy of body, like all kinds of interesting things are kind of wrapped up in this story. Is it going into depth into any one thing? No. Could it be like about 30 pages longer and would it feel a little bit more settled? Yes. But I really enjoyed this. I think I really
Okay.
liked what she was doing. I didn't want to stop reading.
Yeah.
You compulsively want to get through it and figure out what's going on. Yeah. So that's The Governesses by Anne Sarah.
And it's
And it's
such
just a
a
little thing.
cute little book.
You can read
It's
it
so
in like an
cute.
afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we had a nice discussion. My friend Kieran and I read it, and we have a nice discussion
Nice.
about it. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Well, today I am recommending The Witches of Bolinas by J. Nicole Jones. And thank you,
Hmm.
Catapult, for sending me this book last year, but
Ooh.
better late than never.
Mm.
So we are
You're still
with
doing better than me.
we're with a
Bars on the floor.
newlywed couple. Look, but you're reading them eventually. We're with a newlywed couple and they live in New York. And they were invited to the husband's sister's party. And she lives in this town called Bolinas in California. And she was once this beautiful model or whatever, and she got married and settled into family life, and it was a big deal. And she was just telling this newlywed couple how much she loved Bolinas and how it changed her life and all this good stuff, right? So when they get back to New York, they start talking about, is New York working for us anymore? Like we could sell our apartment, take that money, move to Bolinas, and live off of our savings for a while and finally start our family and have a much more settled, low-key kind of a life. And so they do that. And when they get there, the husband is just like beside himself with joy. It's everything he always wanted. However, the wife sees like the veil has been removed and she starts to see everything for what it is. This is also like a really good showing of when a very strong, educated woman is married to a man who is very weak and has not found his way. And how, because of that, he can't really see what's really going on. And so this is a crazy story, and I'm not going to say anything else about it because it'll ruin everything. But what happens in this little town is so wild, and the ending was so crazy. I was like, somebody should pick this up for a TV show, seriously. Because
Oh, those are the
when I
best.
say it went off the rails, honey, it went way off the rails in so many ways. But it was so enjoyable. And that is The Witches of Bolina by J. Nicole Jones. Now, my laptop's going to die, people. So here's the thing. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us everywhere at TBR Lowdown. Share this podcast with a friend or two. Leave us a review where we listen to podcasts. We would greatly appreciate it. And you know what? That's going to do it for us. We're out of here.
Do it for Naomi.
Bye.
Bye.